again everybody and welcome back. As I told you in my previous post that 25th of October was my birthday. So I am now at the ripe old age of 27. Yes, very wise and very old person, I know. But I figured that since I did grow a year older and I did learn a few things along the way, that I might share them with you, in case you're interested, of course. And I wanted to do sort of a chatty video with you today. And as you can see, I am on my couch in my comfy space, let's say, instead of my regular filming location. Because I always feel that when I'm sitting on the couch talking to you guys, it feels, I don't know, closer. It feels more like I'm talking to my friends who are sitting right in front of me. And I wanted to structure today's video around the style lessons, let's say, that I've learned this past year. Because with doing YouTube and doing my blog as well, which are focused on style, I also had to re-examine my own relationship with my style, which was really fun and really interesting at the same time. And I thought I would share the lessons that I learned along the way with you guys. And I wanted to also share some of the motivations and goals, let's say, that I've set for myself, statistically speaking, for next year. Because I figured maybe it's useful for you guys. Maybe some of you have also been where I've been. Maybe you're also, I don't know, in the process of building your style, or maybe you're struggling with it a little bit. And then I figured if you watch the video, perhaps it will give you a bit of inspiration or some information that you might like. Hopefully. And of course, if you like the video, if you find it useful, in the least, then feel free to smash that like button so I know that you enjoyed it. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. Feel free to share the video with whoever you think might be interested in it. And yeah, I hope that you enjoy it. Now, the first lesson that I learned this past year in relation to my style was the importance of experimenting. And this is something that has really taught me a lot about myself. Because I feel that by experimenting, by trying out new things that you maybe thought would never suit you, things that you thought you'd never try, would never benefit you in any way, is actually how you discover those things that you end up loving. Like, for example, this is the best example I can give you. I used to hate the color yellow with a vengeance. I'd never wear it in any way, shape or form. And now look at me. All because I chose to accept the fact that maybe I look a bit different than how I looked a few years ago. Maybe my tastes have changed. I've changed the color of my hair, so then different colors will start suiting me that didn't suit me before. And also, sadly, some of my favorite colors don't look as well as they did before. But that's just it. That's how you learn, by experimenting, by trying things on, by being brave enough to say, you know what, today I'm going to go with a cut or a fit that I have never tried before or that I've always thought would look horrible on me, and just going with the flow, trying it on. And then you can say that, you know what, that was a really good look, I'm super happy I tried it, I'm going to be introducing it in my regular repertoire, let's say. Or you can say, nah, I've tried it, it's a fun look, but it's not really for me, so in the bin it goes. But that truly is the only way that you will discover your style and what you enjoy and what you really don't like wearing, by experimenting. And I have to say, experimenting also taught me something more valuable about my style. When I first started, caring about what I'm wearing, how I look, how I'm expressing myself through my clothing and through my looks, I always felt like I was missing something. Because it always felt like everybody around me had a very specific style. I would always see them in the same type of clothes, almost like a uniform look, let's say. And I never had that. I always felt like, yeah, this look really expresses my style, but this totally different look also expresses my style. So I felt like maybe I don't have a style, maybe I'm just lost, maybe I don't get this style thing. But then I realized by experimenting that even though the different looks that I am wearing seem to have nothing in common, if you look at them, there are always some key pieces that come through every outfit. And I actually ended up realizing that my style is a very feminine one. That's what really suits me. And on some days, I choose to express it through the very girly definition of femininity. Like with the big curls and with the poofy dresses, like tutu-like skirts, all of that stuff. And other days, I choose more the vampy, let's say, screen siren, all Hollywood style. And that's also very feminine, but it's very different from the first look. And I would never have found that out if I hadn't experimented. And that is also my goal for next year, and probably for the following years, to experiment more, to step out of my comfort zone, to just sow my wild oats, stylistically speaking, so that in the end I can say with certainty that yes, I like this, no, I don't like that. And it's something that might also help you if you're stuck in a rut a little bit, if you want to change your style but you don't know how to. The best piece of advice I can give you is just start somewhere. Don't get stuck in that, I want to change my style, but I don't know how to, I don't know what suits me. You'll never know what suits you unless you try. Just start experimenting. What's the worst that can happen? You'll be wearing an outfit you don't like for a day. Big deal. That's fashion. You know, just see the humor in it, crack a joke at your own expense and move on. And the next day, you'll probably choose a much better outfit that makes you smile and makes you feel very happy and confident in yourself. The second thing I learned this past year was the importance of how my clothes fit and how they look on you. And let me explain to you. You could have the best looking dress in the world. If it doesn't suit you, if that particular fit is not made for your body, then the dress will look bad and you'll look bad in it. And this is not a reflection on you, it's just a fact. It's the importance of knowing that you have to tailor your clothes. You have to keep them washed and ironed and properly maintained for them to look as good as possible on you. And it's also the importance of understanding that some types of clothes are meant for some silhouettes, for some types of bodies, and different kinds of clothes are meant for different silhouettes. So it's just a matter of finding the right clothes and the right person and putting them together. And then you get the best result, the most pleasing result from one style point of view. And something that I never used to do was iron my clothes. Of course, I would keep them clean and washed, and I would try to make sure that they fit me properly, that they're well tailored, but I would never iron them. And this is something that I really learned the importance of. Because when you iron your clothes, they look a lot better, they fall as they're supposed to, and then you also don't look like you just got ran over by a train. And that is also something that I'm planning on working on going forward. Making sure that all of my clothes are properly ironed or steamed, because steaming also helps and it does the job a lot faster and a lot more easily. Because I can totally feel you when you're saying, I don't want to be ironing this huge pile of washed laundry, it takes me a lot of time, it's annoying, it's tiring, and that's all true. Which is why I am now thinking of investing in a steamer. And I mean one of those professional steamers, you know, with the little machine that produces the steam, and with the rod where you get to hang your clothes and steam them, and then you get those really perfect results, no crinkles, no creases, no anything in your clothes, and you also get that really comfy, warm feeling of taking a freshly steamed piece of clothing and putting it on you, and it's so comfy and warm and cozy. I love that. And on that note, I also suggest that you make sure your clothing is always properly tailored to your body. And I always try to do that. Like, of course, I'm not going to do it for a 10 euro t-shirt that I buy. But for example, for blazers and for dresses and for pants, I always do it, especially for pants, because I'm this super tall person, so my pants are always too long for me. And I always need to take them in the waistline as well, because with my body shape, I always need to get pants that fit my hips and my bottom part, and that always means that they are too big in the waistline. And of course, you can always put a belt on, but just getting that fabric taken out will actually leave you with a much cleaner and nicer silhouette. Another thing that I have learned, or better said, relearned this year, is the importance of always curating your wardrobe. And I cannot tell you guys how important it is to always be going through your wardrobe, making sure that everything you have in there is something that makes you happy, that looks really good on you, something that actually has earned its place in your wardrobe. Because I don't know if you think about it like this, but if you're living in a rented apartment, or even if you have your own home, you're definitely paying money for the space that you're occupying, which means that every single thing in your house needs to have earned its place there. And your closet is no different. And all the clothes in it, of course, need to have earned their rent, let's say. Because if you're keeping a wardrobe stocked with clothing that doesn't make you happy, that doesn't suit you, that doesn't fit you, then you're basically just wasting money with it. And I don't know if that helps you. I don't know if you think about it like that. I know I do, because I'm also a bit more analytically and economically driven. But it also always helps me to know that the clothes that I have in my wardrobe are actually bringing me value. And I don't mean value just in relation to the price, because that's not how I see value. I see it as something that brings a plus to your life, you know? You put something on and you feel better, you look better, it gets you, I don't know, a better frame of mind, it gets you more motivated. That is true value to me. And I try to make sure that all of my clothing fall in that category. Now, of course, I do fall into the being too lazy and too comfortable trap and not really going through my closet all the time. But this is something that is a style resolution, let's say, that I made for the future, making sure that I go through my wardrobe at least twice a year. So when seasons change, you know, when you go from the cold season to the warm season, like that. And that is also because I figured if something's in my closet that's beyond repair and I'm not going to use it anymore, I need to throw it out and make space for new things to bring into my life. And if it is still looking good, if it's not too peeled, if it's not damaged, but I just don't like it anymore or it doesn't suit my style anymore, then I need to either donate it or sell it. And I figured this also helps other people because maybe others would be more than happy to be wearing that specific garment that I'm bored of or that doesn't suit my style or my needs anymore. And then this is a win-win situation. I also either donate it and know that I've helped someone, or I sell it and make some money and then I can buy something new, something that brings me more value and more happiness. Now the next lesson is somewhat related to the first one, which was experimenting more with your style. And this lesson is that I need to start experimenting more with the places that I buy my clothes from. Because I have to say, I've been shopping a lot from the major retailers, you know, the ones that produce fast fashion items. And I've also shopped a lot from vintage markets, from flea markets, from thrift shops, second-hand shops. And I have to say that the lesson I learned is a lot of amazing items can be found in vintage markets. So I really want to explore this sector more. And this is the goal that I'm setting for myself for the future, to start buying more vintage. And if I can't find anything in the vintage market, in the vintage sector that I like, to start looking more towards slow fashion producers. Because I think this is also important to know where your clothes are coming from, how they've been produced, to be aware of the environmental and the social impact that clothing and fashion have on this earth. Because you might turn a blind eye on it and you might say, it doesn't really concern me, or you might say, I can't really afford to buy from, you know, those really expensive boutique-like manufacturers. But what I can say is, rather than buying 10 pieces of clothing from a really cheap manufacturer, and those clothes you have no idea how they've been produced and what toll they've taken on the employees that have made them and on the environment, I'd say take that amount of money and buy one piece of clothing, but make sure it's an amazing one that will last you for, I don't know, 20, 30 years to go. And I would say, why not support a local manufacturer? You're also supporting your country's economy, and just give a little helping nudge, you know, to a small producer that is maybe trying to make a name for themselves in the fashion game. Because as you know, the big retailers actually control everything. But if you have a brand that you actually love their products, you love how they produce them, you think they're ethical, you think they are mindful when it comes to how they produce their clothing, I say, why not give a hand to them and shop more from their shops. Shop more from their shops, yeah, super. And speaking of items that will last for 20, 30 years, or maybe even for a lifetime, this is also one of the reasons why I like shopping from vintage markets or vintage fairs. It's because if I see an item that comes from the 50s or the 60s, let's say, and it looks really good and it's in a tip-top shape, well, as much as it can be for an old item, I'm thinking I will get to keep that item probably for another 20, 30, 50 years. I'll get to enjoy it, and it just means that it was produced, you know, with quality materials, with quality stitching, since it lasted so long and it still looks really good. And I think that's an important thing to keep in mind whenever you're shopping, either for old, pre-loved, pre-owned items or for new ones. Check the quality, check the stitching, check the way it's been produced if you're interested in that, and just make the right decision for yourself at the time being. And the last lesson that I've really been focusing on this past year is taking care of my health, my body and my mental health. And this is something that of course I've known all my life, but it's just been drilled really hard into my brain in the past year. Because I figured, if you're not healthy, if you're not feeling your best, if you're not 100% there, then of course you're not going to be focusing on anything related to your personal development or style or anything like that that's a lot more superficial, let's say, compared to your health issues. So you need to be taking care of your body, you need to be feeding it right, exercising, meditating or praying or taking any sort of mental breaks, whatever helps you do that. Practice self-care, because that is really the most important thing you can do for yourself. And of course, when you're feeling great, when you're looking great, when your mind is at ease, when you're feeling really calm and peaceful with yourself on the inside, then you start caring more about building yourself as a person, about working on your inner world, and about how you express that through your outer appearance. And the way that I'm planning on taking better care of myself is participating in more events that I feel enrich my soul, my inner world, and that make me happy. And that for me is going to more opera concerts, going more often to the ballet, to the theater, going to more art exhibits, because this is actually what calms me down and what makes me feel super happy. Seeing a beautiful piece of art and taking part in, I don't know, in a festival or in a concert or anything like that just makes me disconnect from everything else, even if it's for a couple of hours. It makes me unwind and just allows me to absorb the beauty that I'm witnessing. And then of course that makes me feel a lot better, a lot more calm and relaxed, which in turn makes me more concerned about growing myself as a person, and also leaves me a bit of energy to focus on my style, on how I look, and you know, the beautiful little shallow things in life, let's say. So these have been 5 lessons that I really wanted to share with you guys. I'm really hoping that this video is useful to you, and I hope it's entertaining you. I hope you are still here with me until the end. I hope I didn't bore you with my chit chat, but I honestly wanted to share these life lessons, style lessons, whatever you want to call them with you, because I'm genuinely hoping that maybe you're watching this video and then you have your aha moment when you get something, when something clicks, you know, and then you feel more confident and more energized, more prepared to go on and take the bull by the horns and start working on yourself, on your style, on everything that relates to you as a person. And like I said in the beginning of the video, if you liked it, if you felt it's useful, if you felt it's entertaining in some way, then feel free to give it a thumbs up, feel free to share it with whoever might want to see it, feel free to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy what I'm putting up on it. And of course, I will see you next Saturday with a new video that I hope will be even more entertaining and more useful than this one. Until then, have a fabulous week ahead, and I'll see you here in 1 week. Bye everybody!